Have you ever found yourself in a spot in life where it just feels dull? Maybe you have even asked yourself questions like, how did I end up here? This is not what I imagined for my life. And yet I have no idea how to get out of this situation and where I actually want to be. See? Your girl has been there. I have found myself with that overwhelming, daunting feeling of what in the world. I never expected to feel this way at this season in my life. And yet the thought of getting out of it and actually making the changes to do something else feels scary. I have no idea where to start and if it's really possible to live the life that I actually want to live. If you have questioned if it's possible to change the trajectory of your life, this video is for you. Ladies, gentlemen, I'm back for another sit down video with you and me, and today I am hydrating on all ends. I got my water and my coffee, so here's your reminder, go grab your drink, let's get settled in, and if you haven't noticed, 'tis the season, but also 'tis the season for cloudy, gloomy, dark days, and so I am working with the light that is available to me, so if it looks a bit more dull than usual, give your girl some grace. Here we go. If you have it available while you're watching this video, I encourage you to grab yourself a pen and pencil or the notes on your phone because we are gonna dive into a few questions and start planning out a few things that are going to set you up for success. So let's jump in. Today, I'm going to invite you to ask yourself 3 questions that will set you up on a different path than the one that you are currently on. Here's the deal. Sometimes we think in order to see change in our life, there has to be drastic measures in order to see it. Like changing our career path or choosing a different job or moving out of state. But the reality is sometimes the most drastic change is an internal change that has to be made in order for the external to fall into place. So, here we go. Question number 1. I want you to ask yourself, what is it in your life that you feel you are lacking? Maybe it's community, maybe it's joy, maybe purpose, friends, health, etc. Ask yourself right now, what is it that if I am very honest with myself, I feel I am lacking? See, I remember a season in my life when I was desperately needing community. It was a shift in season and I felt like I was lacking that deep sense of friendship that I had had in seasons before. But the thought of going out and putting in the effort and creating community for myself again felt overwhelming. I even found myself on coffee dates and putting in the effort to actually see that come to fruition in my life and would sit there with this gloom and doom and would leave the coffee dates feeling more discouraged than before because I looked at the road ahead of me of how many more coffee dates I was going to have to go on and how much more time I was going to have to invest in people in order to ultimately get to my final destination and my final goal of community. I even began to question if it was possible. I began to question if I really wanted to put in the effort or if my community and season was just gonna shift again and it wasn't gonna be worth the time in the first place. This leads me into my second question. What is the lie or reason deep down that I believe that it's not possible to not lack in this area? Why do I think it's not achievable to ultimately live with purpose, health, joy, community, whatever it is that you wrote down for your first answer? See, in that moment, when I was desperately wanting community, I was actually sitting on these coffee dates with this overwhelming thought and belief system that actually it's not worth my time because ultimately these people are going to leave my life just like the other sets of friends and communities when seasons shifted and I moved places and life moved on, and I began to feel myself fearful of the pain that I might have to go through again when I say goodbye. I began to find myself on coffee dates asking questions like, so do you like living here? What's your 10-year plan? Where do you guys envision yourself for the future? See, I basically was coming in with all of these guards and all of these defenses to make sure that I would not come into any sort of pain, that I might protect myself from my fear, because I thought that it's not worth investing time if I might eventually feel some level of pain. Sometimes we don't actually do the very thing we need to do to get to the place we need to get to because we're believing a lie about the situation. It might not be that you have a fear or you have a reason or you have a belief about why it is that you don't have community, but maybe you believe something like, I don't know if I'm worth the effort. I don't know if it's possible to really feel beautiful. I don't know if people will really love me and really accept me as a friend if they really knew me. Maybe it's that you have a fear, right? I'm so scared that if I do the thing that I know I want to do, I might fail or that people might reject me. Maybe it's something really simple, like I just don't actually know if I have the energy to do it. See, these very belief systems begin to dictate the life that is created around us. These very belief systems that can be so subtle and yet are so dominant in creating the life that becomes our own. And if we don't notice them and if we don't identify them, they become the very foundation and the very pillar that creates the life around us. So I want to encourage you in this moment, sit with this for a second, maybe even pause this video and ask yourself, if I am really, really, really honest with myself, what belief or what lie or what reason is keeping me from the very thing that I want to achieve? The area of my life that I no longer want to lack in. Okay, and now maybe after you've taken some time to pause and really think about this, here's a little sort of bonus question on top of that question. I want you to now ask the Holy Spirit. I want you to ask God what it is that He believes about that situation. What is it that He believes about the belief system that you have had? Ask Him what the truth is about your circumstance. Take a moment. Don't overthink it. What is the first thing that comes to mind? Now ask Holy Spirit, is this the truth about the situation? Jot it down, write it down. And now I want you to cling to that truth as you answer the third question. So this leads me to question number 3. What is something you can do every day to begin to make a change in this area of your life? Maybe it's something every day that brings joy because you feel like you've been lacking joy, or productivity because you feel like you've been unproductive. Or maybe it's some way that you're going to love your health and your body because you haven't been treating it the way it should be treated. Now, once you have that, I actually want you to simmer it down just a tad. So maybe you said, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week. Well, what if it looked like you moved your body for 5 minutes 5 days a week? That's probably very doable. That's probably not overwhelming at all. And once you've moved your body for 5 minutes, 5 days a week, then up it. I'm gonna go to the gym 1 day a week and continue to move my body 5 minutes for the other 4 days of that week. Begin to take it by bite-sized pieces. And as you go about that process, continue to remind yourself when that nasty little lie comes up and tries to tell you that you don't have what it takes, that you're not worth the time and effort, that people are just going to leave, that you're going to be rejected. Remember the truth. Put that at the forefront of your mind. In the season of life when I was desperate for community and I found myself discouraged going on these coffee dates, it was because internally I had that lie that people were just gonna leave, that it was just going to be painful. But ultimately, what began to happen is I realized that actually people were worth my time, because regardless if they lived in the same place that I did, I might find a friend that I will have forever if I invest the time. And that is worth it. So I began to shift my mindset and I began to go out and invite people into my home and cultivate times where I could get to know different people better. And ultimately, a year later, I can say that I have found friends that I know that I will have for a lifetime, that feel like they have begun to be those deep friendships, that even if seasons shift and even if things change, they will be there. They will be by my side. How much they mean to me won't change. And that was worth my time. But if I hadn't shifted that mindset, I would still be going on coffee dates dreading them. Or maybe ultimately I would have stopped putting in any sort of effort and felt more and more isolated and alone. See, I wouldn't have begun to find the community that I actually was desperately needing and feeling like I was lacking. I didn't immediately just start going out every single night of the week trying to hang out with friends and find community. I didn't immediately join small groups and all the different possible interest groups that I could potentially jump into. And I made sure that every single day I was aware of my mindset, because I knew my biggest challenge was what I was believing. And so actually my starting point was journaling down my thoughts when they came up, when they were negatively focused in that area of my life. It was actually when I began to make the shift inside that I began to see the shift outside in my life. See, I love this verse. It rings so true and is so relevant to us. Proverbs 23:7, right? It says, "For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he." If we think we are not worthy, if we think it is not possible, so it will be. We have to begin to shift the internal in order for our external world to change. So if it feels overwhelming, if it feels daunting, if you're not sure how you can change the trajectory and the path that you are on in life, I want to encourage you to begin with the subtle shift, because that is when you will begin to see the dramatic shift externally. So ladies, gentlemen, let me know, are you in a spot in your life where you're feeling like you need to make some shifts? You're hoping to get on a different trajectory and do something different with your life. I want to know in the comments below if this video was helpful for you. Is it rainy, gloomy where you are today? Is it sunny, bright, lovely? I want to know in the comments below what sort of weather you're enjoying. Today, for me, it's that rainy, gloomy weather, and I'm gonna make the most of it. But you guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope that it blesses you. I hope you take the time to continue to process this and simmer on this and talk through this with the Lord. And if you want more videos like this, I want to encourage you to hit like and subscribe to this channel. And like always, have a beautiful rest of your week. I will see you all next time.